Good evening. Honorable Premier, Ministers, inductees, guests, family, friends, it's with great pleasure I accept this award. It would be wrong of me to accept this award without mentioning a few people that helped me along the way. I'd have to first start with my mother. I guess I always knew I was destined to be a professional player, because I recall a memory going to a game, and I didn't even share this evening, going to a game up at Rangers, and it was on the moped, and it was a bit bad on the day. Anyway, she hits brakes, the bike goes under, I jump off, I'm about between 8 and 10. She jumps off, we were going slow, and first she's saying, "Are you okay, are you okay?" I'm saying, "Yeah, I'm okay, I'm fine." And I said, "Are you okay?" "Yeah, yeah." "Okay, good. Get on the bike, we gotta get to the game," so she got playing. And I think it was around that age I knew I was destined to go on to pursue this in football. There's a few of us, and Harold Updale was one that, for me, was a great disciplinarian. Many times going down North Village to go training, and he'll ask you, "Have you done your homework?" And yeah, I've done my homework. What do you have? "Oh, yeah, maths." "What do you start? We're doing times tables." "Yeah, 7 times 7. 6-1. Get up the hill, go do your homework. I'll come back until it's done. And Doc was always that way. And may rest in peace. He was so instrumental in my career, and David as well, in our time growing up. Bermuda Sports, I spent quite a few times in nice down the Baskin family. I was privileged because I thought a very talented family, and to spend time absorbing and learning from Andrew Baskin in particular, being one of the best players at that time, I was able to absorb and learn this. But Bernice Baskin was a disciplinarian, so I enjoyed sort of staying down there on a Friday night because we could talk football. At Saturday mornings, we had to get up and we had to oil furniture, clean the house. And I used to try to sneak out about 7 in the morning, and she'd be waiting and said, "You and David's got your work to be done." But this discipline helped me, certainly later in my years, and I wasn't to realize it. So along with the discipline I was getting home as well from my mother, and then obviously Andrew Bascom, I learned from him that it's not only your ability where you can get the upper hand on a team, but the cleverness in how you think of the game and how you play. So David and I got so many stories, but David and I, we would study tricks and learn tricks. And I used to go to school at Whitney and think, okay, I'm a bit tired of this bologna sandwich, so I'd say to a player, "I bet you your lunch, I could go through your legs." And I would typically, this was always a banker. They say, "Okay, as long as I have 2 tries, they say, okay." And so they would just stand there with their legs shut, and I would go up to them, and I would step over the ball, and so they wouldn't do anything. I said, okay, they're not going for the first, but I want them to. So I just go up to them, approach them, the ball on my side, stand on their foot, nudge them, so they automatically, the legs go, while I'm still standing on the foot, I drag it around through the legs, so I say, "Give me your lunch." We were students at the game, and so we always look to improve and find ways that could make us stand out. So moving certainly from, it's so many people from having backyard kicks to, it was so much belief put in me from the North Village family to having backyard kicks at Boulevard down Bernard's Park, and you hear people saying when you're sort of 10, 12, 14, "Oh, he's a good player, him and Baskin are good players," and you always, and that belief is what I had to use whilst I was in England. I had to use that because I'm looking in a dressing room and I'm looking, they don't dress like me, they don't look like me, they don't sound like me, so I had to draw on that confidence that I got from all of Bermuda. And another important individual I didn't start off with was my wife. She can't be here tonight, but she's ever so supportive. And I remember playing a game against Middlesbrough on Sky, and I came home, and she said, "Is there a dress rehearsal?" This ain't a dress rehearsal. And she basically was a mentor and a real rock for me. And she was a real rock for me, and I needed it during my tough times because it was very difficult in England. And with her giving me that speech, I'll never forget that every time I put my foot on a field, I gave my all because I knew I had the ability and I just had to prove it and not take it for granted. And so with her, I got a wife, I got a best friend, I had a mentor, I had a psychologist, I had everything in my wife. And she was just so spot on. And I've achieved quite a lot in my football career. This is the best. Thank you.
I didn't know we were going to have one of those tonight.
Thank you for selecting me. It was a difficult time, I know. I sent a bribe out to Rick and his group and they took it. The checks will be in the mail, I heard. Thank you very much. I'm pleased with, I'm also pleased with golf. Golf, we recognize. We need to hear golf's a great game for locals, tourists, and it's a great mingling. Next week you'll see the Goodwill. That's a great mingling of towns there. And just quickly go into that one more time, but in golf, the charities involved. People can raise funds, good funds, from playing golf. It's difficult to get all sports to do that, as you know. And you go to a charity, you can't get into these things. They're sold out just like that. So it's important that we keep this game and for tourists and everyone alike. Especially right now. The other thing I was going to say is, in the golf itself, you can have a foursome, and it can be 4 different decades of players here. It could be 20s, 30s, 80s, 60s, all playing together. That's what happens in golf. And if you fellas have enough money, you can get a game of Tiger Woods, if you want any of it, if you want to. But quickly going further, on golf, Lloyd James, when he was inducted here, maybe I'm correct or not, Lloyd, I can't remember, Lloyd said something. It was Lloyd James, Eldon Rayner, and Coach Trot. I guess you all know him. And I remember Lloyd saying something about, God, look at the funds that these national sports are getting. Cricket and soccer, of course. Imagine if we had that in our day. Imagine if we had that. What could we achieve? Not necessarily for himself, but for those around, the juniors coming up. And he said, what if we had it? What if? I'll go to golf on that and say, what if we had those funds during my day? With the juniors coming up at the age of 18, they're thrown out to the wolves. There's no further program for them. They're just thrown to the never land. What if we had funds? What if we had what we have today? Who knows? What if we had the funds for them? What if? Thank you.